Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second map of this third place decider map for the Esea Mountain Dew League Season 31. It is Team Spirit versus Movistar Riders, and if you are just joining us right now, Team Spirit did take map number 1, their own map pick, in a 16-14 affair where they slogged back through to hold off the Spanish side, completed the comeback, and took us through to Train. So now we are on Train. It's a much more comfortable map for the Movistar side, and this should probably be a more effective start for them. Although, it's hard to beat that start on Nuke. So, what do you think we're going to see here, Dean?
I mean, I'm hoping we'll see the Movistar riders throughout this entire map that's similar to how they actually begun that previous one. As you said, they should be a lot more comfortable now going onto their map choice, and if they can take it to map 3, they definitely still have a good position to try and take that victory on Vertigo. But who knows, Team Spirit, if they can go ahead and come into this game looking as hot as they were on that CT side of Nuke, it's certainly going to be a bit of a struggle. And of course, Coldy, he's already gone ahead and opened things up. Soaker goes down to kick off this round and to kick off the map.
Now, one thing that's to consider here, of course, is that starting on that CT side for Spirit is a massive advantage. You've got so much more to work with. Still, tons of utility available for the Movistar side here for the pistol. Looks like they're going to shift around towards that inner hit, which is a pretty common one to see in the pistol rounds. One thing to consider, though, well, now Mopaz has joined up with them. I thought he might have been tucked in towards T-Con, but he was up by the lockers instead. So it is going to be the classic inner hit, it seems. They've got a smoke to clear out towards Z. They've got a couple of mollies. They can leave one up in towards upper. There is a smoke available on Sotpick. That'll be for the defuse, presumably. So this is set up pretty well for both sides. It's playing out much as you would expect for a train pistol round. Is going to be Chomper's first point of contact, but he's sensed the presence. He's now got support as well. I just bounces past where the Molotov would go down or the smoke as well. So 2 players in the site makes it a little more difficult for the Movistar side. They are trying to advance forward. They are trying to get this plant, and Alex taking a quick frag and Mixwell following it up makes this a lot easier to do.
Yeah, they're going for that aggressive after plant. Unfortunately, Mopos will actually be traded, so it's still a 3-on-3 for now, and Mixwell looking tempted to go forward. Will he give the peek, or is he going to go ahead and hold on? USP in hand up close. He gets one on the Sotfic, but again, the return does come true. Young now up close, able to drop deaths as he was playing around that connector train. And now it's all down to Alex. He has the Molotov rather, and he also has a flash to try and at least delay this a little bit. But of course, that smoke already having gone down. They're yet to even tap it yet. This is awkward. Eventually finds it. Young needs to try and hold it off. 7 HP though, but the defuse rather, it still does come true. Unfortunately for Alex, doesn't quite get that angle right. Only needed 1 bullet to be connected. And in the end, Team Spirit coming through with a very successful retake.
That's painful if you're Alex. All you have to do is jiggle slightly to the left. Yeah. He doesn't check it. He has faith that he's got the exact angle for the spam, and he just can't quite find it. So Spirit do take up the pistol round, and that's so critical to get the money healthy to really start to make a go of this on their CT side. If they have that lockout CT side, this might have the possibility for being a 2-0. That's certainly what they're looking for. Alex looking for this initial peak, but he's going to go ahead and stick his foot in the flames and go down to 68 right off the bat. So he's just looking to rip ahead here onto Coldy, but it should be a pretty strong angle to play with the AUG. Of course, the slightly slower rate of fire on that gun now may betray him. I know some pros have been really hesitant to pick it up just because they're not quite comfortable with it yet since the nerf came in earlier this week. But he's not going to be cowed. He's going to go straight back to the scope rifle.
Yeah, I actually still quite like it. I think it's still really useful, especially for those longer range angles. I mean, up close it's definitely not as useful as it used to be, but you can still go ahead and create yourself a bit of space with it. As you see, Soaker goes down. Mopos does get a nice headshot on towards Idis balance over on B, though, so although they do lose a player, a 1-for-1 trade comes true. There's still just under a minute remaining, so perhaps a chance still for that bomb to go down at the very least for Movistar. And it's going to be a tough one, though.
From Sotfic. I keep trying to say Sotfic. Just in my English-speaking brain, that feels like a more logical sentence. But it is Sotfic, and he is the man of the moment. Finds one. Make it 2. He holds on, and no chance for damage. Alex going to be the last to be cleaned up. It is a nice 2-0 for Spirit, and they do keep 4 alive as well to make that bank start to build. It is going to be a buy, though, in the 3rd round for the Movistar side, and Mixwell goes to the op right off the bat. He's even going to have armor behind it. So now we're going to see what the big green gun can do. There's a lot of utility available as well for Movistar. Getting the plant in the 1st round and then just taking the full eco in the 2nd means they're going to have a very healthy buy here.
Yeah, even getting the op out most importantly early on. There's not going to be one in play for Team Spirit. They do still have those 2 AUGs though, so not completely lacking the ranged capabilities, but also having the SUVs in a bit of a bonus approach. And it is Young early on that's going to get picked off over towards Ivy. It's 3 been out of main. They use those smokes really well to just actually stop anyone on Team Spirit from having that vision and knowing if he was able to creep out or not. And it looks like Movistar do want to potentially commit straight towards this A-bomb site off the back of that pick. Could be a little bit dangerous though, because the rotation haven't already come true. And then also Chopper is in a position where he can rotate really quickly, just playing around connector.
Oh, elevating, but that flash just doesn't work out for him. Sodfik had the opportunity, but he's just blind as he takes the peek, and that's so unfortunate because he could have been able to Cole the Opper and Mixwell. He is going to eventually die in just a forward angle, but Coley will at least answer one back. Still making their way out of T-Con. Damage coming both ways, starting to stack up here for the Movistar, but they're taking heavy losses as they try and get out, and they've kind of been stunned here. They've been slowed. They're stuck by the E-box and getting out ladder, and just the pace has switched up. Cole D now here to support Chopper as well. They can do the wombo combo. Chopper has the tight angle with the MP9. As soon as he swings, he may just have this shot onto Alex. And Alex is going for the plant, so that's going to be an easy frag. He's got to take the long-range fight, but he'll get both. 2 for the price of 1 in the round as well. Nicely played from Chopper. The patience works out. And it is going to be Team Spirit taking through the third. A really nice hold on with the bonus round. They avoid the op. They avert disaster. And they start out very strong here on Train.
And they even get an op out of it. Only losing, I mean, they went into that round with 2 AUGs, 2 SMGs, and an M4, I believe. So the fact that they managed to actually come out of this still with an AK and an op is actually a pretty good find. Reinvested into 3 AUGs then. No one at all on the Team Spirit side going to be shying away from them as we thought they might have been a while ago when you mentioned it, of course. Up against these pistols especially, that's when it's still extremely useful on a map here like Train, because it's only really the Deagles that have a chance of taking that long-range duel, and even then, of course, they don't have the same vision without the scope, not quite as accurate on those first bullets. It can be a little bit hit or miss every now and again with the Deagle, quite literally, and they're just going to go for a straight-up rush over towards B. Of course, this is a side of the map where you definitely have a good opportunity to get that bomb plant down. And you see a couple of frags actually coming through. Mopo's, of course, got a great opening shot. Mixwell then with the assistance of that flash from Alex, able to take down one as well. As now it becomes a little bit of a difficult position here for Team Spirit to reclaim this bomb site.
Look at Mopo's. Coldy's going to come to clear it out, though. The problem is there's not armor behind it. Such a great start to the round. But now you wind up in a situation where the rifles can just methodically start to move forward, methodically start to work picks, do the damage they need to retake this. They got smokes as well to cover it off, so Death's position is not going to be very useful. And Alex is just kind of stuck out. The nade's going to find him if the bullets don't first. The nade will be the one to chase him down. It's just Death's. Who's got to think about what he even can try and do here. He's just made noise. He's trying to pull them off the defuse. They're not going to be tempted in the slightest. So he will go ahead and just kind of sit here. Oh, maybe do an extra bit of damage. There you go. Nice little bit of economic hurt applied right at the very end for Deaths. And all things considered, it's a pretty successful round for the Movistar side. They get the bomb plant. They get 3 kills out of it. And they had very minimal investment in. So you're seeing the hurt reflected here for Team Spirit. They've got 2 SMGs, although I'm not actually sure Sumda Young needed to go for that. He could have probably had a rifle here. He's not going to go for it, and this is going to be an interesting decision. We'll see what Movistar can do now with the advanced weaponry once again. Never mind.
I mean, yeah, not a great start. Chopper just pushing straight up through B. Mopo's as well, being a player who, of course, we pointed out quite a lot in that previous map as being someone who had a lot of impact from Movistar Riders. He was especially strong on that CT side, of course. That is not the smoke that Sodfik was aiming for. Fortunately, it's not really going to block off any 3 or 4 areas, so they will still be able to go ahead and hold down that general area of A main. But in the meantime, over towards IP is where we do see some success coming through from Movistar. Mixwell able to pick up that frag there towards Coldy and also allows for them to actually advance forward. And a great flash towards Ida's Balance over the boxes. Gets himself another onto Sodfik. This time it's the head that gets taken off, just ensuring that Sodfik won't be staying alive to put up a fight at all. And now it's suddenly all onto Chopper and Sumda Young.
He's doing it all himself. 3 big kills for Mixwell. I mean, he flashed himself out, finds the first pick. He's just continuing to do it. Sumda Young does clear the flank. That's a big one to find on the Soaker to make this a little bit more possible. Now they're coming out ladder. They may not anticipate Choppers past the Molotov. The perfect timing here. Mixwell may actually get caught off. The shot's been rung out. Now he's got a ton of information as well. He's trying to chase this frag, but he's given it up just a little bit too early, and Death now coming to support. It's just Sumda Young who does find the first. He's now on 4 HP, and he's just got to withdraw. That's going to be the round given up. That is going to be the first on the board for the Movistar Riders. There'll be plenty, well, there should be cash to get back into this, considering how much Coldy has in reserve and Sumda Young is saving here. It's not going to be plenty, though. It's going to be a little bit limited if they do decide to invest up. The Movistar Riders, they've started out nicely here.
Yeah, it's not great, as you said. Sundayoung can drop one over. Coldy could drop one over as well, and he'll be able to buy for himself, depending on if they maybe want to pull out an op for Idis balance. So it's going to be interesting to see what way they decide to actually spread out this economy, and you can see that they themselves, they need to take a bit of time to go ahead and discuss it. So a pause is indeed going to be called. Also given a bit of time for Movistar riders to go ahead and discuss as well, because you can't really just rely on Mixwell to find 3 opening frags every round. That one certainly didn't start off great for them, and they did go down by a player. And overall, this buy is actually better than I expected it to be over on the Team Spirit side. They're able to pull out a double up setup, an AUG, an AK, Chopper, sadly limited down to an MP9, but he's been making that work in these past few rounds either way. No defuse kit, and utility-wise, it definitely could be better. But it's a round they certainly have a good opportunity to go ahead and take.
This is really interesting. Coldy, I wonder what position he's going to play. He's on fire right now, 7-1. Really nice showing from Coldy early on in this game. But with a glass cannon AWP, looks like it's going to be an Ivy push early or just a solo Ivy play. Peek into T-Con. Oh, he nearly gets fruit. There was a player right around the edge who was just set back just a wee bit. That was Soaker, who might have been right on the end of his hook, but it's not quite going to catch a fish yet. We'll be looking for it later on. It's heavy presence towards the outer yard. Actually, 2 players playing close up to the ramp for inner. Pretty strong setup considering I just bounces one of those with the AWP. Full set of utility as well. And Movistar, they're taking a much slower approach to this one.
Yeah, realizing that they can't afford to actually give away that pick early on from the aggression of Team Spirit. So instead, chilling back and waiting for it. Around now, though, we do see actually a couple players trying to work it over towards Ivy. Coldy, he's not really playing it too aggressively himself, though, with that op. Just holding a little bit of a passive angle, waiting to see if anyone tries to actually creep up through Ivy itself. Just under a minute now remaining for Movistar Riders, so they will have to make a decision pretty soon about what they're going to do. The bottom currently just still outside of a main, with the majority of the presence being on this A side of the map. It looks like they are setting up for a little bit of a split, potentially down through Pop Dog as well, as Mopos is working towards that position.
I just bounce on the scene just in time for the hit as well. They brought both ops to bear here. This is pretty much the perfect timing for Team Spirit. They've got 4 players ready here. Mixwell now so low. He is going to lose 2 players. They're dropping all apart, but health or no, Mixwell's still going to find an opening frag. They need to get through this, though. Choke points are impressive, but Coldy's gone down back towards Ivy. It's been traded out, though. Just Mixwell and Deaths, and Death's going to have to do the bulk of the heavy lifting. He's got the health, no more, but a frag found for it. 2v2 now. Problem is Chopper close up and up on the bomb train to find it, and no time available. Deaths has to press the issue, and Young will catch him. I don't think Young actually had to take that fight. I think he had enough time just to wait for it, but he does indeed, and he claims it. So nicely done by Young to cling on and to reset the Movistar Riders immediately after their first round win.
That second kill from Pop Dog was absolutely nasty. Didn't see his opponent at all. Just took a couple bullets randomly through the smoke, and I think it may have just basically been through the corner of the wall as well, and just an instant headshot came through. That's what kept him in the round, and of course then taking that 1v1 in the end. As you said, a little bit of a risky play from the push out immediately, but he made it work either way. And for Movistar Riders now, although they pick up 1 round, they end up instantly losing the one that follows it. Loss bonus at least allows them to go for a pretty solid buy once again. But they need to start picking up some more rounds, because after losing that previous map with such a massive lead, to come onto their own map it's definitely disheartening.
Now you've got Soaker up forward. He's gonna find one, might have the second. Softfit comes back to check his position. Mixwell somehow stays alive, and that sets up Alex for the frag. So a nice chain of kills available for the Movistar side. And now they're getting on towards the bomb site itself. I just bounce to the back lines. Chopper over by Old Bomb as well. Gonna be trying to hold them off. That will allow the plant and confirmation of positioning as Chopper tries to close distance. This is so very risky for him. 48 health available, and he'll slip back into Z. I think this is gonna be the save, but he's got Mopaz hot on his heels, and he's not able to slip away. So the MAC-10 finding its mark and finding an upgrade as well. Now I just bounce's position is known. But the money's not great for Movistar. How much do they want to devote to this hunt? Apparently, at least one more.
I mean, they definitely don't want to give another frag away at all, because they're going to have to get a lot of reinvestment into this next round. Loss bonus, win bonus on top of the $800 for that bomb plant going down means Alex, Soaker, and Mopos should be able to buy for themselves either way. But if Mixwell and Deaths were to go down, then there could be a little bit of trouble. The main issue still being that they're not going to have much money left over in the bank. Although, as we see that op being carried over for Idis balance, that is likely to be the only rifle that will be brought into this round from Team Spirit. They may just buy up, of course, facing a bit of a double eco, but it's likely just to be Pistols and Kevlar to actually go ahead and back that up. A Scout being dropped over, I mean, that adds a little bit more diversity to Scout, can put that bit of damage in to allow for the Pistols to have an easier time.
I mean, a map like Train, the Scout can really be a terror where you just pop the one shot and then fall away, pop a shot and fall. Just sort of guerrilla tactics it. But this is definitely going to be difficult. If the B hit comes in right now, Chopper is going to be done for. There are two players starting to shift over this general direction, take control towards the upper D hulls. This is the right read. It is eventually where they come through. It's just Chopper to hang on. He's going to CZ. It's kind of a one and done spot. You can't expect any more from him, really. He's just here to dissuade them and try and funnel them into his teammates over on A. Smoke down might just do it. They're actually withdrawing of their own accord, so a bit of a misread here for the Movistar side. But as I say that, Sumda Young has come in support. He's dropping a smoke as well. The Ivy push could yield fruit. Idis bounce here with the AWP. He's looking for this long-range shot. If he gets it, this could be massive for his squad. He's going to have the shot. It's a tag, though, not a frag, and that's such a shame for Idis bounce. He's going to have to fall out of the position. It's just too risky to hold. Now Movistar, they have more time to work with.
It doesn't really seem like the info about where the opposite positions is going to influence them at all either. They still want to take this straight over towards A. And you can see with that stack, of course, coming through right now from Team Spirit, this could get extremely dangerous. A flash being ready to throw over, a smoke towards Ivy. That's actually really nice to do its best to keep Idis balance out of this action for as long as possible. But time, they need to move forward quite quickly now. Mopo's connects some good damage towards Sumda. Young Radar over in Connector. Soaker eventually gets one, but the frags are actually being exchanged right now from Team Spirit. They're at least making it costly. But as things begin to quiet down somewhat, it does appear that Chopper now left in that 1v3 is not really going to have much of an opportunity. He's looking to try and come in through Connector, but I believe the footsteps being heard. Mopo's, he shifts his attention back over and quickly takes a headshot.
That was really nicely done from Spirit. As you were saying, a very risky call from the Movistar Riders. They've established that the op is there. They've established that the biggest gun on the server is right in position, and they just decide they're going to take the fight straight to them and make it happen. So they do overcome it. They avert disaster. They find the round, and now they've got a nice, easy eco to ride out. So maybe the decision was almost like, we're going to take the hit towards the op because we don't want them to save that op. But it's perhaps a little bit questionable. Now it's going to be a 5-man B ramp push, and they just got flashed out, so that's going to stop them in their tracks for at least a moment. But it is just going to be Mopaz who's basically got to avoid getting caught out by this massive stack. As they start to move up the ramp, I don't think he's going to spot them. He's withdrawing at just the right time. They're going to group up for an A hit, and it's an A hit, and nobody's going to be home to receive them.
Yeah, Mikasa, Sukasa. Just their house now in general. It's been gifted over. There's an opportunity though. I don't want to see Victor really going for the retake itself, but I'd like to see them set up in positions where they can work off of each other for those exit frags. One thing though they want to avoid, of course, is feeding that money over to Soaker, who has the Mac 10. So being cautious of that is definitely something they should worry about. Nice trade there towards main. At least one of the rifles actually getting dropped.
Soaker, that SMG's got the nose for it. Mixwell actually drops. That's unfortunate. Long-range USPing. That gun's certainly not going to be retrievable, though they would love it to have the big dub AWP. Likely just going to be retrieved by Soaker right now. They'll make sure they have it going to net. It's no more damage able to do. So Soaker should have that big green gun. He's got it indeed. It's actually an orange and white gun, as the case may be. They'll be able to toss that over back to Mixwell and Movistar Riders. They're going to be very healthy moving forward. They've got 3 players above 5K. They got that cash starting to swell. It's going to be a good round from Team Spirit, but at this point, one more round, and Movistar Riders have already had a good half, and they're looking on point. Mixwell in particular, out to 10 frags already. Very sharp with that off. We said it was the true on Nuke. You were talking about how if that transferred over to Train, they were going to be in for a world of hurt on the Team Spirit side, and it seems like that's definitely the case.
Yeah, it was certainly a slow start from Movistar, but it seems like now they're getting a little bit of a read on the economy of Team Spirit, as we've seen as well, taking these rounds a little bit more convincing. And with this buy coming through from Team Spirit, I'm sure they have the firepower to work with 3 Augs and M4 and an up, but with 1 minute and 23 seconds left on that clock, the utility that they have is just flashes. Not even a single smoke, and speaking of smoke, Idis Balance, he will actually be able to go ahead and take down Mopos, who is trying to creep out of one towards that lower ramp on B. An advantage, certainly something that they will be happy to find.
Look at this spot from Chopper, though. Look at this potential. He's looking for it, but he's going to get checked. There was a stack. He could have done so much damage. Fortunately for the Movistar side, Soaker is just watching for it. He's patient. make sure they're going to have it. And now they can take their time. They can let this CT defense start to spread out. A little bit too little butter over too much toast. They are grouping fairly effectively, but Mixwell finding a pick out of Coldy in the back line is going to make this easier. Both players are bunched up into the office, and it's going to be Softfit coming back from the same angle. There's no way they anticipate that. But now his position's been sold out. He can still find damage. What a round from Sotfik. And Deaths has one player hemmed into the corner, but there's no reason to peek if you're Sotfik. The real threat here is where is Idis Bounce playing from? And Deaths has 20 seconds to try and make this happen, to try and figure it out. He's spotted both now. He knows. But long range with the AK, he's got to get these kills immediately, and they know he's got to find this bomb and get the plant. So they're just going to toy with him. No reason to force the fight. 10 seconds on, there's no chance he's going to get this. Idis Bounce deals the final blow. And that was just a round where playing two players in the same odd position really paid out for Team Spirit.
Yeah, and the absolute size of Sotfik's balls to actually try and jump down that ladder, I'm not gonna lie. That scared me a little bit. I honestly thought he was gonna get taken down, but he moved with a speed that was just too quick for the crosshair, of course, of the final Movistar player. But 6-4, Team Spirit finally trying to stop the wall. That's been a nice streak of rounds on the team side for Movistar Riders, but can they replicate that previous round and get yet another? Quite limited on the buy, a couple of MP9s in play, and already just so much damage being connected by Mixwell. Oh, and a nade onto Sumda Young to follow it up, drops him to 15.
He's going to be so careful. There's a shower of bullets right next to him. He's going to make sure he's got his towel. Just a little bit of damage will be enough. Apparently, he doesn't need much health, though, to find Mixwell. Mixwell was watching for it. Doesn't matter. He will eventually die, but an exchange rate of an SMG player for the AWP, that's a worthy trade. Alex, still alive, though, finds a frag and keeps this aggression down. Idis Bounce has to back off. They were trying to go for the full upper B-Halls approach, and they get checked at the door. So an advantage, and Coldy just limping along at 9 HP is going to make this hold rather difficult for Team Spirit. Idis Bounce looks to bring back a frag, but he's just missed Alex creeping around towards upper, and that could be the backstab that he's not anticipating. Alex might just have enough to rip open the site, and with it the round. Ooh, this kill, everything hinges on it. Alex creeping forward, he spotted him now. That's a free frag. Idis Bounce has no idea he's worked his way to upper, thinks he's safe, thinks he's got it covered off, and now he's dragging all of their focus through to B. They are all approaching. Player in Z, though, has an idea. It's Sotfik. He's like, all right, something's not right here. They haven't hit yet. I'm going to make sure nobody's coming back through Z. But it's going to be Alex all the way back into CT spawn. And Coldy will get that frag. So 9 HP or no, he will be good for one more, but it's already going to be the save call. They can't contest this. They've got to keep that money at least some semblance of healthy. And that's going to be a rough one. 6-5 will be the scoreline. The money in the gutter for Team Spirit. And it's looking like the Movistar side, they're close to tying this up.
Yeah, just a great round there from them in general. Been able to creep out and take down that B defender was pretty much the confirmation of the round. Coldy and Sotfik, I was surprised that they even rotated over, in all honesty. I thought that the save pretty much immediately would have come in without the kit, and with Coldy having already been down low on health, Sotfik not even being too healthy either in general, so it was interesting they stuck around. They ended up finding one frag for a little bit more damage at least, but Movistar now bringing up to 5 and potentially 6 off the back of it, because this isn't going to be a buy rather from the Team Spirit side. At most, maybe some pistols being upgraded to support those dogs that are still in play. But on paper, we should see that scoreline being equalized. And considering the start that we had from Team Spirit, that's not going to be ideal for them. Movistar bringing it up to 6 and a potential to take it even further. Completely count out these two Augs though, so there's always the opportunity. Coldy, I mean, has been playing pretty well over these two maps. Maybe not as hot here on train as of yet. As well, also very capable, but there we go already. The op rather does open things up over towards Ivy.
I like this call too. You go ahead and you stack both the Augs on one site. You say, all right, we're either going to get it, they're either going to run through for an upper B hit, and they're going to get massacred by these two Augs, or we're going to lose the round and have a very good chance of saving them through, and there's no problem with that. They are trying to take a little bit more control for the top upper, and if you catch off Mopaz, that's one potentially more to find, but Sotfik dies, and he drops the Aug, rather, upwards. So that's going to be an upgrade for Mopaz. Not so much for the Team Spirit side. It's just Coldy now to try and save it. He's way far away, tucked in towards CT spawn. All of his teammates are dead. Only Mopaz is even injured, sitting on 95. So the bomb's going to be planted. It's a nice, easy round for Movistar. And they've got plenty of time to try and hunt and dig out Coldy's position.
I don't know if they really want to hunt this down too aggressively, though. I mean, maybe they can send out Mopos and Debts because they have that bit of extra money to reinvest, and that's pretty much what happens. Mopos will go ahead and actually take down Coldy. No contention at all, just from above. Free headshot being found. That's all 5 players surviving from Movistar Riders, which puts them in a pretty comfortable position for the majority of the half that's actually going to remain. I don't think they'll really have any trouble. Could maybe have a bit of a weaker buy into the final round if they end up losing 2 in a row, but it's still going to be a difficult one here for Team Spirit. They're not going to have an opportunity for an easy round for a while. They need to start picking up these gun rounds once again. And the investment just isn't great. The last, like, 2 or 3 gun rounds from Team Spirit, although they've got the weapons out, they've barely had any utility to work with. And I feel like that's definitely been an issue for them because they've just been abused then by the op. Not able to actually keep the op pinned down by smokes and with flashes for the peaks, etc.
One thing we have to consider as well is just based on the map, right? Okay, here a pause comes out. Last minute. Round was about to start, they called a pause. I'm not sure whether this is a technical issue going on or whether they had a last little bit of tactics they needed to discuss to go through here. Because if you're Team Spirit, 6 rounds for the Movistar side, a tied scoreline, and they've just sort of been dictating the pace and battering you through the last, it starts to get really dangerous for Train. I mean, Train is a map where you really do want to see that dominant CT side. You want to see the op leading the charge, and iDisbalance just hasn't been able to keep pace with Mixwell. Mixwell seems to be everywhere at once, finding the opening picks. And meanwhile, you know, they're doing a good job of holding upper. Alex has been very effective, and Mopaz as well. They've been sort of switching off on finding that upper B presence and just doing the little bits of damage, keeping the aggression from coming through. So the Movistar side, everything they get from here on out is just a little bit of extra icing on the cake. If they actually end this with 8 rounds or more, that's a disaster if you're Team Spirit.
Yeah, I'd say even if Movistar Riders bring this up to 7, that Team Spirit aren't going to be too happy considering the start that they actually had. When you look at the context of letting 7 rounds go, would be a pretty difficult position to be in. But let's see. There's always the opportunity that they can actually go ahead and pick it up again here on the CT side, try and bring it to 9-6 at the halftime, and still be in a position that I think they'll be fairly happy with. Also, Movistar Riders already having 6 though. This is a half that even if they don't end up picking up another round, they're still in a fairly decent position heading onto that CT side, considering especially that this is their map choice. We know that they're very comfortable here on Train. Map 3, if we got to there, though, would be interesting. It's a map from Movistar Riders that statistically is quite strong for them. But Team Spirit are also very capable on it. Have got some pretty good victories. So if it does go that far, I'm not really too sure what to expect of this game, because it has been quite back and forth so far.
It would be very good, which is so much fun. Mixwell somehow wins that out, and a second as well. Okay, Mixwell. They have him dead to rights. They see him coming up the ladder. He dances about back and forth, and he's going to find a third. Mixwell just dashing all of the hopes for Team Spirit in this round. I mean, immediately he gets on the server, and he just finds the frags. What a way to get started for Mixwell. No mercy from the Opera, and now he's worked his way all the way around towards Old Bomb, confirms that nobody's out from Z, and he can just go on the hunt. They're going to try and get around, but Mixwell, he spotted them. They're now hemmed into a corner. There's nothing they can really do about this. He's nading them down. And it's interesting that he falls off. Having spotted them, I figured he'd just play contain and let the rest of his team come in for the actual hunt with the rifles. But it seems like they're content to let Chopter and Sodfix stay alive here. And you were saying they're already not comfortable with this being 7 rounds up. Well, 7 rounds it is. And frankly, it's looking like it's going to be more. That was such a great round for Mixwell. Just walks out T-Con, gets 3 quick kills, and just slaughters Team Spirit.
Mopos is trying to hunt as well. Unfortunately, with that smoke being down, just tries to walk through it and will be dropped. So at the very least, their Team Spirit are able to save over 2 rifles. If Sodfix had a little bit more money, just enough to even drop over an M4, then I think they probably would have gone for a force buy here. But now it's a position where they likely just go ahead and give up an 8th round over to Movistar and just hope that they're going to be able to at least find 7 at the halftime. I mean, they're not completely counting themselves out of this round, but considering even when they have those rifles, they just haven't been finding the successor on the CT side, bar what they had early on. And that was off the back of being up against, I guess, weaker buys in general from Movistar as well.
So now, obviously, I haven't gotten much of a chance to cast Team Spirit this season. But obviously, just looking at the name, whew, what a shot for iDisbalance. Maybe I'm just going to hang off from making my dumb jokes right now, because iDisbalance might have something to say about this round. Amali's going to go down to make his chances a little more difficult, but he's got support coming through. There's 3 players coming in towards the inner site, and the bomb has committed. More chance for the Deagles to do work. Coldy rings out a couple of shots, but it's not a kill, unfortunately. Bomb can now be planted. Well, now it can. Mixwell down, though. That makes this a little more awkward, and Coldy's following it up. It's only 2 players left alive. Deaths will trade 1. And the bomb is planted, but still, Bounce working his way forward with that deagle. If he hits a quick headshot, his lack of armor is not really going to matter. And he'll elevate to make that a little more viable. Death's vulnerable. Alex, though, hangs on. It's all going to be on Sotfik. He's been solid all day. He needs to be a little more solid here. Death's spot him, and the ladder accuracy betrays him. Death gets the backstab. Movistar avert disaster. That was nearly looking like a round for Team Spirit. So back to the dumb joke I was trying to make. Which is clearly the priority. How many people have made the Nirvana joke this season about Team Spirit?
I don't know. I don't think I've casted much of them either during the season. I didn't do quite a lot. I'm sure someone has though. Maybe the likes of Scriv, etc. I think he would be interested in that.
It's just so tempting, right?
It definitely is. It's one of those easy puns that like Mitch would take, etc. So maybe he has.
Mitch right now itching on the other side of the mic. He's our producer right now, filling in for Justin, who is traveling. So big thanks to Mitch for doing so. If you're enjoying this observation, you should go follow him at MitchmanCasts. MitchmanCasts or MitchmanTV?
MitchmanCastin, I believe.
On Twitter? All right, so find him at MitchmanCasts. So. Hit him with that fat follow.
It's a very, very long app.
There's too many letters, man. Gotta start. Ooh, Mixwell playing around with the light fixture. Just get an opening pick. Nice op strike again. It is the double up, which we haven't seen much of just because the money's been on the ropes for Team Spirit most of the time. And I just balance. He gets a tag, but it's not a kill once more. And this double up is struggling to have impact. There's utility all over the site to close the angles down. And now I just balance has been found out. So this is once again turning into a disastrous round. But Coldy has something else to say about it, and so does Sotfik.
This position from Sotfik just seems to work out for him time and time again. Finds a couple of kills again. Coldy going to be playing around that smoke over towards Ivy, quickly dropping Mopos as well before Mixwell manages to come in with a second frag on the op for himself and instantly just picks up that bomb to go over towards B. But it seems like Coldy has a little bit of a read on this. Does he expect it? Question, there we go, spots Mixwell coming down the ramp. And unfortunately for Mixwell, he did not expect Coldy to be in that position. He was just trying to get onto that site as quickly as possible and just get the bomb down so that he could attempt to play that after plant. 7 to 8 at the half time, of course, though. Even with Spirit finding that final round, rather, it's still a great position for Movistar to be in. And especially if they pick up this pistol, then they're looking to just go ahead and try and run away with this second half.
Without it. I mean, the form is just also on
Jesus.
Point for Movistar.
Bodies these last few days on CS for me have just been all over the place, just getting launched into the ceilings and stuff. It's really weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've only played a couple of games and it's happened. I played like 2 games and it happened like 4 or 5 times in those 2 games and it just happened here in this warm-up. So it's like I went away for a week and it's like the CS physics have just gone mad on me.
They've joined the space program, right? They're just getting a little extra altitude from north.
Getting yeeted away, you know.
Full yote. Is it yeeted or yote? I've been trying to get yote to catch on. I think as much as there is a technical version, yeeted is correct. I don't know if there is a correct in this context, but yote just sounds so nice.
Hopefully we won't be waiting too long to get back into this action though. You don't want to see that momentum being slowed down too much from Movistar. They're looking pretty spectacular here indeed. Well, again, playing quite well. I want to see in a moment what his opening statistics are because it's been at least 5 or 6 rounds there on that T side where he's picking things up.
It really has. I mean, there was that one round where it's the full buy up from Team Spirit. They're finally trying to put their teeth in to be able to get like that 8-7 line, and he just walks out T-Con, goes up the ladder, finds the first, and rapidly finds 2 more to just wrench open that site. And it seemed like it's been the case again and again and again. He was winning that initial duel. He was either getting past the opponent Opper and finding a frag onto a rifler, or just taking down the Opper straight up. So it was a really tough game for Spirit, and just in the second half, I think unless they get this pistol, they're kind of done for. Because once that gun comes out, once the op's available for Mixwell, once the rifles are up in the utility, I can't see this being anything other than just a iron gate defense.
Yeah, just to confirm, by the way, Mixwell has 8 opening kills in that first half alone. 8 opening frags. I believe all of them being on the op as well. Someone who really wasn't having a good time was Chopper, and also Coldy, each going down 3 times to Mixwell rather to kick off those rounds. So it was certainly a little bit of a struggle. I'm hopeful now that maybe Team Spirit on this T side, though, maybe they'll be a little bit more confident with a bit more freedom going in their way. Now they can control the pace. Is this where they can swap it up? let's see. I mean, that first map was pretty close all the way. It was back and forth as well. I don't know what to expect here. It could certainly still be an exciting experience that could go either way. Good bit of utility being pulled out though. Mopo's picking up the smoke flash and nade, and then of course Alex is smoking a defuse kit as well. Bit of damage though early on going in favor of Spirit as they just slowly work their way across the map to get a bit of control.
This is just kind of putting those CT players on notice, letting them know Team Spirit's got a little bit of control, not to get too excited, and it's working pretty effectively. You see how much focus it's bringing over towards that B bomb site. One thing you can take advantage of with the train meta is that people just anticipate this inner B hit again and again and again, because it's just such a classic, and so you'll see teams start to heavily favor it, especially when they're coming up against pistol rounds and ecos. You kind of exploit that bit of psychology. The problem is with 3 players around towards Ivy, this may just be that same split, though with Sunday Young working his way towards the ladder, it seems like it might be an outer hit instead. And that would be quite an effective piece of work here. So there's only 2 players out towards Ivy to contest this. Alex, the first chess piece to fall, and if he goes down, it's going to be Soaker's position vastly compromised as well. Here's the duel. There's the swing, though, and Alex is good for 1. Looking for more. They're going to drop the smoke to secure his position. He is the kitted player, so that is the bit of utility down. And Sunday Young chasing this with a burst fire. Gets it, cleans him out. That is the site just about fallen. Mopaz next to contest. He is close up, and that's the bomb drop. That's tons of information. Now the full hit's coming through, and it's just not turning out well for Spirit. I just bounced the only one remaining. Despite the early nice results, he's got so many bodies in his face and 21 HP with which to fight them.
Yeah, and less than 7 bullets now as well to do it in that B250. That's all he had available. It was running low. There's 1 left in it, as it's picked up there, of course, by Dets in the end. And that's a pistol going in favor of Movistar Riders, and it didn't actually start off too bad for Team Spirit either. Able to get that initial 1-for-1 trade. They just took quite a long to actually push on towards the bomb site, and of course gave the time for that rotation to come around from Movistar Riders. By the time Team Spirit were actually pushing forward, pretty much the entire CT side was ready to hold it down.
This is interesting. 4 SMGs in the second round buy on train. Admittedly, it is the full eco from Team Spirit, so it shouldn't be an issue. I just balanced the only one with an upgraded pistol, and he's already been needed down to 54. But that can be tricky. Train is one of those maps where if you're up against Eagles and you got full SMGs, that can betray you real quick. If they force spot up a scout, Team Spirit would be in great pole position here. As it is, there's the spot from Jets. He's going to go ahead and drop the molly, and this is perhaps the best possible angle to be playing with an SMG on this site, because if they start to fan out upper, you can just mow them down from that spool position. That's exactly what he's going to try and do.
You've also got to remember, with the amount of SMGs they've invested into, even if they take this round cleanly, they're probably going to be keeping all of those into this upcoming round, where they'll be facing off against a Team Spirit that has the full rifles at very least. So it can be a little bit awkward, but also gives the chance for that bonus round. Let's see how it goes. Just a standard setup right now. They have to give Blue on that B bomb site, ready to try and hold it down. And we will actually see Death's only been able to find a single frag before he ends up going down. So that gives over the bomb plant. Considering there was very little investment actually in this round from Team Spirit, they've already found 2 frags and a bomb plant. They're going to be happy with how that went. In the end, though, being cleaned up by the SMGs and also Mixwell on the FAMAS. Defuse easily, of course, going to be coming true for Movistar Riders as they do reach double digits. But a great buy going to be available now in this upcoming round for Team Spirit.
Definitely. And somewhat ironically, based on, you know, what you're saying here, it's almost good that 2 of them die, because now they're going to be forced to invest back into rifles to have a little bit better to work with to contest with this Ops out for Itis Bounce. It is also going to be available for Mixwell, so that's a big investment, big bit of purchase. They are going to scrape together some rifles for the other players. Still some cash in reserve on Alex and Death, so the money won't be terrible going forward, but they would very much like to take this round. The UMP's the liability here. We're going to see where they play from. Seems like they're going to be getting in. I mean, the ladder's a classic position, right? Ladder, and Alex is actually holding towards Ivy. That's a hard spot to play with the UMP, I would say.
Yeah, especially from back of the E-box here. I mean, as long as the players push up close to them, it's a little bit easier. Chopper, even though he was just peeking out of main, does actually end up taking a dink. So UMP goes pretty well in favor of the CT side early on. Alex with a nade over towards Ivy will also connect a little bit of damage. As I've said before, although it's not really anything too substantial, it does make things a little bit easier for those players, especially on the weaker weapons. For Coldy as well, then, if the M4 is to tap him in the head, he'll go down to 1 bullet. So, go down to just the 1 bullet, rather. So it certainly could have a little bit of impact as this round moves on. But a minute remaining now, we do see Team Spirit looking to try and shift their focus over towards B instead. And for the moment, we do have both Mopos and Dets in position to try and hold this down. They have a Molotov remaining, they have 3 flashes, and they have those 2 rifles to try and just put this B site on lockdown.
Tons of utility will presumably sail through here for Team Spirit, though, which might just make it awkward. These two players close up, you don't often see. Frequently, it's the one player out long and one player close up. This time, it's three players bunched pretty tight in towards the site. So Soaker is going to be able to support as well. Counter utility is going to sail out. It's just going to be the rifles to take the fight. Mopaz has to stay alive. His position is the most critical, and he's been overwhelmed. 3 quick frags for Team Spirit. They have not left themselves much margin for error, but they are going to take the round. And Mixwell just has to keep this off alive. Alex also going to be baiting a hasty retreat to try and clear the path for that AWP to survive. UMP perhaps a little less critical, but if he has it, he can drop it to Soaker or Mopaz and make this buy healthier. So it was actually a really good read and really good setup for Movistar. Just sometimes, even when you have the right call, you get deleted on entry.
Yeah, just a great play in general, and unfortunately it took them a little bit too long to notice that, of course, Coldy had just pushed straight forward around through the actual, around that train, rather than going in towards the bomb site itself. As you said, Mixwell at least backing off. Alex with that UMP should be able to drop that to a teammate and purchase up a rifle for himself, but other than that, they're probably not going to have too much to work with on the Movistar right side. So even though we did see them picking up those few rounds early on, it's still going to be a pretty awkward position now for them to be in, because Team Spirit have an opportunity to break their economy and just go ahead and equalize at 10-10 if they are actually able to come out on top of this round right now.
This is also an awkward decision to make, because obviously they've got, well, it looks like it is going to be the investment. So you had 2 players on 1450, Mixwell and Soaker. So now you are going to go ahead and go all in. 3 SMGs in play. And Mopaz is a glass cannon MP9, which is not something you see every day. Definitely going to be tricky to play with here.
Water gun, or a plastic water gun, rather.
Just one quick step and it's cracked.
Yeah, pretty much. That's not going to be too useful, because the second he gets shot at all, the aim punch on that is going to be ridiculous.
So heavy outer presence early on from the CTs. And there is presence being shown towards Ivy. They're going for the boost up. Alex has to be careful here, because Ivy's balance is looking for exactly this pick. He's waiting for it, holding for that smoke to clear, and then the op is just going to swing. Here it is. Smoke's clearing. He's waiting for it. Alex is coming back to the well. If he comes around this corner, it's going to be disaster. He shoulder peeks it out, though, and now he's got confirmation. An nade will sail in to do some dust-up damage, but Alex is lucky to escape with just that. Nicely played by him to make sure that he baits out the op shot and avoid getting picked off. So Spirit, they fall away from that, back to the drawing board, trying to figure out what the next approach is to the round.
Yeah, Sumda Young just continuing to put some pressure on over towards B with that smoke going down. Forces Dets to use a little bit of that utility that, of course, is already limited in the possession of Movistar Riders. So this is a pretty decent start indeed. But Team Spirit, they need to get a move on really, really soon. There's 35 seconds remaining. A smoke having just gone down towards main as well. Maybe able to slow them down for a couple of extra seconds, even as it's now that they begin to actually pressure forward with this execute. Of course, this setup actually from Movistar Riders is quite passive. There's a player with a pump dog at the very least, and Mixwell boosted up over on Connector, is able to go ahead and drop Coldy to start it off, and I think it was actually being connected. Sophic trades one back. Idis battles on his op, is able to go ahead and take one down as well, but Mixwell, he's still getting this done. Doesn't quite deny the bomb plant, but he takes the frag, and it's down to only Sophic now in a 1-on-2.
So close. If he had had that bomb plant a second earlier, he would have won it just based on time. But here's the swing, and Mopaz has it. Glass cannon or no, the found AK, he won't be touched, and he'll find it. 4 kills on the round for Mixwell, and what a round to take back, to deny from Team Spirit. They had so little going into it. A glass cannon SMG, just the end of their rope economically, and they will survive at least for a moment. Problem is only keeping 2 alive. They're going to be right back into the dumpster, and there's a full buy coming out from Spirit. So they maintain that 3-round lead, and they're going to have a better buy than last time, kind of. 2 SMGs, a lot more utility available to them, though. This is going to get tough for Team Spirit. That's what a round to lose. I mean, they just did not leave themselves enough time to make that comfortable, and Mixwell exploited it, turned into 4 massive frags. That op is on fire right now. Whoop. Wallbang tag there.
A bit of damage at least. It's better than none. The push is actually very true for Team Spirit now to kick this round off. They want to. They don't want to give any time here from Movistar Riders to get comfortable already. Chopper gets one. Alex, though, pushing in through the smoke, denies that bomb plant. It is at least returned on, so it should eventually be put down with that man advantage still favouring the CIS side. So a very tough retake now at hand for Movistar Riders. They have a couple of flashes to work with. They already actually have one player being Mopaz pushed out towards that bomb site with an MP9. Coldy, though, he has the opportunity to just spam away on the death, not realizing with the smoke, and ends up getting caught off guard by Mopaz, who works his way over the bomb train.
Mopuz has been rock solid here, and he's going to get aggressive again. Has a pretty good idea that there's a player E-box. He finds it before the flash can come in to support. Mopuz, a man on a mission here to just continue to find frags. He's got the last player, one of the last two, pegged in towards ladder, and he'll do so much damage, but not quite the kill. And now just based on time, I believe they've won it. Mixwell will get the last frag, but he's not going to be able to get the round. It is going to be a 9th for Team Spirit, but just by the slimmest of margins. Mopuz tried so much to find those frags forward, just didn't quite have enough bullets for the last one. It is going to be Spirit stealing away a 9th round, and considering the economy on the CT side, that's an excellent one to take.
Yeah, at least Mixwell manages to save that up over, considering he has been the one who's leading the way quite substantially on 26 frags, his closest teammate being Mopo's on 16. That's a good thing to see, but they're not really able to upgrade much around their Radders, so there's a great opportunity for Team Spirit to bring it up to 10. Oh
Look
yeah,
at where Mixwell is.
Just straight overboard. The main issue is there's so many players that are going to be peeking him, so even with getting one frag, he just goes down immediately. Tag down Sunday Young at the very least, giving the Pistols a bit of a chance to maybe finish him off, but it's still going to be very tough for them right now, as long as we see the T's move together, but it's getting awkward. Chopper, although he gets one, goes down low, finished off by the USP, and now it's a 2-on-2 with the bomb being dropped down on that bomb site.
Mopuz has been super impressive these last couple of rounds. Just, I mean, not massive fragging, but just impact. Such a nuisance in terms of when he gets the kills and the impact that they have. And now Soaker's right on the bomb. So much information given over. Death can take the contact. It's up to Soaker, but he can't hit the shot. SDY, some die young. Make sure that Soaker is the one to die young in this round. And it will be double digits for Team Spirit. So very nicely done. I don't think we're quite going to see the buy out from Movistar either. They're probably just going to invest in some pistol armor, make sure that they can get the ops to give themselves the absolute best chance of taking the rounds once the scoreline is tied up. Spirit making a really good game of it here on their T side. And they've been doing a great job of just continually checking that economy from the Movistar side, from the Spanish squad, to prevent them from getting everything up. And I think the Spaniards really need to focus now on getting those guns healthy, so that they can settle in and play their own game as opposed to always being on this edge.
Yeah, it looks like that is what they're going to go for. I mean, there could have been a bit of an argument for them to go into a buy, just because they know, of course, that they kept the economy so low for Team Spirit, but certainly the safer approach is what they are going to be going for here, making sure, as you said, in the next round that they can get out pretty much everything. The off being available from Mixwell is a crucial point. Having that utility as well on a map like Train is very important. So they just give themselves the Eagles, a P250. Dets doesn't invest anything at all, as we should see Spirit having a relatively easy time in this round, but then again, we thought that in the previous one, so who knows, it can certainly get a little bit dangerous. But for Team Spirit, this one, they definitely need to keep at least 4 players alive to be happy with it.
They're going to take a much slower approach. Last time it was just the immediate presence towards upper B, and then there was the frag and the tag out from Mixwell, and it just seemed to all kind of fall apart. They recover critically, but now they're not going to make that same mistake. They're going to show a lot of patience, wait for some sort of a play out from the movies, and just now start to take some control towards Ivy.
Yeah, setting yourselves up for an 8th split when you have such a massive weapon advantage is definitely the ideal position. Try and get yourself those longer ranged battles. That is, of course, where those AKs are going to be most favored. They'll get a little bit dangerous for certain around those trains, especially as you're first coming out of A main. See there is a player playing close, that's Mopo's. Eagle in play actually ends up getting spammed down through the smoke. And Coley already creeped up behind Green Train. Once that smoke goes away for Alex, he's in a lot of trouble over towards that stop sign. And it seems like Coley definitely has a little bit of a read about this. True finishes off Alex with the assistance of Chopper. And it's just beginning to look less and less likely that we're going to see much really being found in this round for Movistar.
The problem is they've only left themselves 30 seconds. Fortunately, they're finding all of the kills. Soaker will finally answer back with one, but he's hemmed in towards ladder, and this is possibly the worst possible position for him to be in. There's no chance he can get out. Does hit another shot, so nicely done, but still not quite enough. So 11-11, we are all tied up here, but now the guns come back from Movistar. They've got the single up. They could go to the double if they wanted to. We haven't really seen them play on the double up, I think, at all. On any of the maps we've seen them play, so not going to be the choice here. It's going to be full rifles apart from that single op on Mixwell, and to be fair, the impact he's had this game, he's on 27 frags right now. He might as well be 2 offers. Yeah,
those 2 kills from Soaker, though, could actually add up in the long run, because just dropping 2 weapons out of hands of Team Spirit is a mini success, especially with still being so close on the scoreboard. early on, some aggression coming through from Movistar Riders, trying to make a little bit of a change, see if they can get that A main control. They're initially slowed down somewhat, of course, but eventually will be able to advance forward. Chopper not really able to fight for it. They have a tough game as well so far. I believe it's 9-17 currently. He's certainly not performing as well as he can. But there's still a little bit of time to go, and it's been picked up somewhat by Coldy, who currently sits at 22-14. But a minute now and 5 seconds remaining. It looks like Team Spirit definitely do want to attempt to try and actually reclaim that A main control that they've lost early on. Also, Pop Dog in the meantime being found, most likely. No one really here to contest for Movistar Riders apart from the player up close on E-Box, and he's actually been spotted.
That was an odd misplay from Movistar. It just wasn't quite tucked in enough to be covered off by an E-Box he was trying to do. So that's a bit of a hazardous moment. Now Soko falls as a result. Mixwell is on the scene, though, and he's found one. Still firm control of the bomb train, and that bomb itself is dropped. Deaths. The Molly's going to force him out into the issue, and he's the last one alive. He finds the first. It's a 1v2. He's got to have it. Coldy is going to get the plant. There's no way he can contest. He'll do his best effort to make just a little bit of noise. He's going to retrieve the AWP and get out of there, not fancying his chances to take the 1v2 with his 26 points of health. He has gotten the heck out of dodge, and he will keep that big green gun up, but it's going to be Spirit pulling into the lead on their T side. This is so wonderfully done for the CIS side. I mean, just to pull this back, to do this with a less favorable half, really kind of a game changer here.
This is going to be so upsetting for Movistar Riders, because this is pretty much what happened on map 1. They had that 11-4 lead at halftime, and then it just crumbled. This time, I mean, it hasn't been as bad so far. They've at least been throwing some rounds back and forth with them, but Team Spirit being on the T side with them coming out on top of these exchanges, it just keeps the economy of Movistar Riders in such a fragile position at all times. And you've seen that resulting in so many weak buys and so many ecos already, with us only being 9 rounds into the half.
It is really interesting as well. I've seen some debates, especially in you know, the NAMDL in and among the chat, about whether the AUG nerf would really start to favor the T side over, just because of the potential power of the Krieg. But the thing is, neither of these sides has been using the Krieg in the slightest. Team Spirit, I don't think have touched it. I don't think Movistar did at all on their side either.
I don't believe
So it's not really a factor in here. This is just kind of old school train. M4s against AKs. A little bit of auging mixed in here, but we haven't seen much impact either side for the scope rifles, which is interesting.
I'm a fan of the Krieg. I like it, getting those
Love the Krieg.
little bursts and one taps off. It's always very, very useful, especially on maps that are more open. And even then up close, it can be still a very useful weapon. But here we go again, Team Spirit. We've seen this earlier on, but they went straight over towards B. This time they don't go up against the Oppa Mixwell immediately. They're able to get in while taking quite a lot of damage on towards Coldy. At least he's only the player with the map 10. And of course that flank as well from Soaker being shut down. He's been playing Pop Dog pretty much all the time, or at least around it, so we're going to be cautious of that no matter what. Bomb goes down, and with that, it should be Movistar Riders going down another round. 13-11, likely to be the scoreline, and up and UMP at least can be saved over. But it's just not a good position for Movistar Riders to be in on their own match right now.
That's such a crisis for them as well. I mean, they're going to have healthy money going into the next one. Death saving his set of armor, even more important than the UMP. Frankly, I expect them to probably get rid of that because they're coming up against one of their last chances to really make this map theirs. And this is their map pick. This is, they are down 1-0. They need to win this to stay alive here in the playoffs. Reminder, folks, whoever wins this match will be advancing, will be in 3rd place. They'll be coming in to the LAN in the US. The op is dropped. Mixwell can't hang on to it. That's so critical. He's done so much for the team, but it just may not be enough. And without the big green gun, that limits him majorly. They are going to be able to buy it up. It's the double op as well for the first time in a long time. Interestingly, they go glass cannon on both. Alex had money in reserve to pick up armor. He chooses to go for the utility instead. So that is the glass cannon. This is the first time we've seen this double op setup as well for the Movistar side. We'll see if they can have the impact they're so desperately hoping for. They need to take this round, otherwise this may just all fall away from them before they can really make another go of it.
Yeah, it's only 3 rounds right now for Team Spirit to qualify to that global challenge. It has to be this round right now going in favor of Movistar Riders, and there we go. Alex on that secondary op, he will be able to actually start things off over towards Ivy. Sotvik getting taken down, no chance for the immediate trade, but that nade, it should actually do some solid damage. Alex not even having the Kevlar rather. Ends up actually paying a heftier price than most would have. Dropped to 39 HP. At least he's still alive for now, and I suppose with that up can certainly still be useful. Only needs those one bullet to be connected as he holds the longer range angles. You can see he even shifts around to go ahead and actually adjust to the fact that he's already tagged up.
So now a little more patience shown from Team Spirit on the Goldie. Now he rounds the corner. If Mixwell holds for this, he may just have it. The flash, though, comes in at the perfect time. He's blinded up, has to fall off of the fight. Won't matter, though. His teammates are more than enough. It's just going to be Idis Bounce and SDY, and the bomb is dropped as well. Idis Bounce trying to bring it back is a pretty good idea of where one of these players is. Now he's all on his lonesome 1v5, and this is seeming like the Spanish side have bought themselves another life. 12th round for the Movistar Riders. They needed it. That double op comes out, and it delivers.
And a clean one, most importantly. They're able to keep both of those ops in play. They're going to have to reinvest a bit. Soaker needing a drop, and of course they want to get a bit more utility in. They would also have the loss bonus allowing for a buy in the next round, but of course, ideally, right now, they need to pick up the second round. If they manage to do so, then we will see Team Spirit looking at an eco in the upcoming, allowing for Movistar Riders to actually go ahead and reclaim that lead for themselves. So this is one here that could really flip this game on its head right now for Movistar Riders and put them back in the driver's seat. Again, they want to look for the same main aggression. That nade should also connect towards Shocker. He tries to force the issue with it, but unfortunately, even while blinded, Soaker is just able to go ahead and take him down.
That's interesting here. They had so much success with these inner hits, and they've just fallen away from it. Now they're starting to reinforce. Now they're starting to come through. But the problem is, it's just a little bit too late. You've got the reinforcements coming in. Initially, it was just Def with the UMP to hold on towards this inner site. Now, Lopez is here in support, and it's seeming like the op's going to be able to rotate fast. Def takes that first frag. That's the bomb dropped. He's finding more as well. So much impact. Now support from on high. An upgrade of a rifle in this round has fallen apart. Suffolk, the last survivor, and he's just crouched up on the box, shaking his head. He does not want to go for this. If he rounds the corner, he's a dead man. He's anticipating a flank as well, and he's just dropped down, so they got confirmation of exactly where he is. He's just going to withdraw. His setup is more valuable than anything he could get back in this round. So it seems like he may just try for the full save. 40 seconds, though. It's going to be difficult. I'm not sure how many resources Movistar wants to devote to hunting him, how much they want to devote to just keeping themselves alive. But apart from his AK, this will be the full eco. Oh, Mixwell's position is perfectly poised to catch him if he comes around the corner. So he's not going to.
He may do so eventually, so he does just need to be careful. There's still 20 seconds remaining, so he could get a little bit adventurous. Ideally, though, doesn't want to do so. Looking like, again, Movistar Riders are going to be able to take themselves a nice and clean round, which is just putting them in an amazing position because they have a good opportunity to do so in this upcoming round as well. Take themselves 14 off the back of it and at least have enough economy by that point then to buy for the rest of the game. So a very good recovery here on the CT side after what was looking like a little bit of a troublesome position. And Mixwell, of course, hitting that 30 bomb, 30 frags, 14 deaths. It says 120 ADR on the actual overlay, but I'm not sure if that's right because I think it does restart at the halftime. Yeah.
One impressive number in the second half: utility damage, 139 from Opuz. He is, I think, a full like 50 ahead of the next closest player in terms of utility damage. So he's just been dropping them nades apparently. Doing some meaty chunk up damage with them.
Yeah, just slowly but surely weakening team spirit. I'm sure the impact doesn't show at that moment as the nade lands potentially if it's not one that drops them down to maybe 40 HP or something like that. But just being able to weaken them slightly makes it a bit easier as they push into the sites later on. Any bit of damage that they can't actually afford to take can be a problem. But of course, this pause right now, Team Spirit, they're discussing what they're going to do with the economy that they have available. I don't think they can even really upgrade any pistols here. Sotfik on the AK likely going to be all they have. And I'd like to see them try and take it back over towards B again. As you said, those quicker plays, they weren't going too bad. Maybe just try and have the pistols rush straight down the lower ramp and see if they can get the bomb planted and then allow for Sotfik to come down towards the back of the pack, I suppose, and see if he can pick off a couple frags with that AK. Also has a smoke and a Molotov then, so could also play for the after plant.
Yeah, it's not a bad setup considering what they brought into it. I mean, minimal investment, you can get that inner hit. That's realistically what they're going to do. Idis Bounce actually upgrades to a P250, which is an interesting choice. It's going to limit him going forward. But he does want to get that slightly upgraded pistol up here, give them something to work with. This pause coming through, though. Do you think at this point, Dean, that spirits are wavering over on the T side?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they were getting so close once again, and then it begins to get a little bit awkward. The fact that they're going to have to give up the lead here as they're on that T side allow for Movistar Riders on their own map choice to begin to feel comfortable once again is certainly going to be in the back of their mind. And I think also the fact that, as we said before, Vertigo coming up next is a pretty strong map for Movistar Riders. So Spirit just don't want to be letting this one go. And I know they will do their best to fight for it, but as you said, Idis Balance spending a little bit more money as well. That also could leave them in this next round with a buy that isn't as perfect as they'd hoped for.
So personally, I'm a big fan of Vertigo. I know most of the CS community at this point hates the
I don't
guts
mind
of
it.
that map. Right? It's fun. It's fast. It's such a different style of CS to most of the other maps in the pool that I find it refreshing. And we don't get it very often because teams aren't super comfortable playing it. So I always find it as just a great tempo breaker and a really kind of an exciting map because it always seems like there's constant action happening. Now, you were saying that it's a very solid map for Movistar and have had some success for Team Spirit, but it's kind of one of those maps where it can really get out of hand early on. Do you anticipate if Movistar managed to close this out, as it does seem like they're in good position to do? Do you anticipate Team Spirit being able to rally into that last?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be a one-sided game. I definitely think it's going to be a close one, but I'm honestly not too sure which way it's going to go. I feel like even though Team Spirit right now are struggling a little bit here on the T side of train over these last few rounds at least, I do feel like they'd be able to come into Vertigo with a bit of a fresh mind. As you said, sure, they don't play it as often as Movistar Riders, but they do also have some okay results on it. So it's not like they're completely unfamiliar with it. Very long pause coming in so far. Maybe there's more to it than just a tactical pause. There must be some sort of issue.
It's odd, though, because we're not seeing any ping fluctuation for any of these players. No one's disconnected or reconnected. So, what are we getting? Someone's headphones break? Classic mouse break? Someone maybe get a little too excited in that last round, pound the desk, and knock out a keyboard? Here we go. The pause is over. I started speculating, and they said, all right, that's enough. We don't need you to uncover our secrets here, Mike. We're going to get this game back under.
Calling us out. That's what they're saying.
One thing that is interesting to me is this double op setup has had a lot of success in the few rounds we've seen it, but it seemed like Movistar were really hesitant to bust it out. They just haven't been playing with it very much, so maybe this little bit of a change-up is doing them some good. But it's odd, because usually you see teams really eager to get into that double op setup on train. And now as it is, it's just going to be two players pretty far back, both with rifles rather than ops, on B, and they are going for that inner hit you were hoping for. Looks like they're going to do exactly as you were requesting, Dean. We'll see what success they can have with it.
Yeah, but with this setup actually from Movistar Riders, having the two players back passively, this is probably what they're hoping for. They're ready to try and hold this down. I mean, there's definitely a chance for Team Spirit to get that bomb in place, but it's likely that they lose a couple of players on the push forward. So they're going to need Sotfik to step it up and pull off a couple of trades here to give them any opportunity to try and actually win this round. And they're taking their time to actually push forward as well. There's a position for Mixwell where he can rotate very quickly around through the back lines. And as the push finally begins to come in, Death's going to be the one to kick it off. Sotfik goes down, some good damage coming through as well. Allows for him to go ahead and take his second alongside Mofos. And the bomb doesn't quite go down. That must have been so close as well.
Half a second, if that at all. I mean, ridiculous. The Mollies wouldn't have been fast enough, so he just takes it into his own hands with the rifles. They roll through. It's a very solid hold with the two rifles. As you said, they were anticipating exactly that play, and they spring the trap. They make it work. So what we're going to have for Team Spirit is no op. We're going to have a Galil for Sotfik, who's been one of their strong performers throughout the series. His numbers aren't necessarily showing it, although he is the second highest on the scoreboard for this Team Spirit side. But I would say he's had some major impact and really been a consistent fragger. He was big for them on Nuke. He's continued a lot of that form here on Train as well. But they're going to be limited. The utility is not great. They've got two mollies. They got 4 smokes. A bevy of flashes, but no HEs, no nothing really beyond that to work with. No op, most critically, to duel off with Mixwell and Alex. So they're definitely going to be on the back foot here, and this would be the round to not only concede map point to Movistar, but also likely force them into an eco or a force buy, rather, for the final round of the game.
Yeah, if this one doesn't go in favor of Team Spirit, I feel like map 3 at that point, of course, is pretty much confirmed. Let's see, this double up setup, as you said, since it's come out from Movistar Riders, has been something that Team Spirit have struggled with whenever it has been in play. And considering they don't have an op right now for Idis Balance, I feel like that just makes things even more complicated. They have the flashes at very least, so there's the opportunity for them to try and keep that up, flashed off at the angles. But let's see what the plan is. Looking to try and favor on over towards B in this round early on. I mean, they did find some success in the previous, been able to get forward, almost getting that bomb down. So looking to try and give it a shot now that they have the rifles. And it's understandable because, again, as we said, they are quite limited on utility. They don't have too much to work with, so that full A execute, etc. coming in, sure, they'd be able to maybe put one together, but they'd be left with basically nothing for an after plan.
Paz getting ahead of the smoke. He's going to catch off Sotfik, and he gets a second as well. Full blind, just checking his angles everything stacking up from Movistar here, and Deaths and Mopaz just the merchants of death here over on the B bomb site. Soaker will get the last lap. It is going to be 15 rounds, map points secured, no plant as well for Team Spirit, so this money is right into the dumpster. At the best, it's going to be SMGs, maybe Galil's here, but they are going to be so very limited coming into this last round. Team Spirit up against the ropes, trying to keep this out from going to map 3, and Movistar Riders just full throttle on the gas. It was Mixwell, the engine, that got them here, but now these last couple of rounds, it's been Deaths and Mopaz over on B to carry them across the line, and they have been very much up to the task.
Deaths and Mopos have both been very impressive. Even yesterday, both of those players have played quite well. Soaker also having some good games today, as has Alex. And it's just all around. It seems like Movistar Riders looking a lot better today in this matchup. Let's see though, Team Spirit, this buy, as you said, is extremely weak, and as they try and push forward onto the A bomb site, they find pretty much zero success. Eventually, Chopper takes down one to retrieve an 8K. That's actually for Coldy. Someone working with that was only a Mac 10 Chopper had to work with, and emphasis on Had because he has now been eliminated, and it's all on Coldy in a 1-on-4, pinned in behind the green train, and I think they have a bit of an idea as well as they begin to focus on that position.
Just Coldy now. Alex is hard checking his spot. He'll give up his life, but that confirms the information. Coldy trying to get back to a Molotov, and there's a player right at his back. Mopaz could have reached down and touched him, and he'll do so with an AK bullet. So that is going to be the round. That is going to be the game, and we are headed to a map 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. Team Spirit, not quite enough juice in the tank to close train out, and so we're headed to Vertigo. We're headed to the high rise. We're going up the elevator, and there will be one more to work with. Really well done from the Movistar side to get back into it. I think Mixwell wound up somewhere around 32 frags. Definitely a big impact on the game, but really the whole side was coming alive and having the impact they needed to hold on there on their CT side, and now we get one more.
Yeah, it definitely has seemed like over these past few days, over the past couple of days, rather, of course, covering both of these teams yesterday as well, that Movistar Riders do just seem to be the team that make a few less mistakes and look overall a little bit more consistent. It's a more of a contribution from everyone on that roster for the frags, and they just tend to be a little bit stronger on the trades. Team Spirit, it's unfortunate there because it was looking so strong when they had that 13-11 lead before it just slipped away.
Well, folks, that is going to be map number 2. We got one more coming up. We're not quite done yet. So stick around. This is the third place decider matchup to decide who gets to go to LAN, who gets to contest for EPL relegation. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a flash. You're watching the ESEA Season 31 Mountain Dew League playoffs.